I feel like every, I don't know, 6 months or so, there's a new theme or topic or hot button that everybody in the business community just seems to be talking about. And it becomes like the buzzword. And I think right now, the one that's having its moment or is in its heyday is employee wellness or employee well-being. And I know that's always been around, but I feel like right now it's really popular. I mean, I can't even open up LinkedIn or articles or what have you and not see something about employee wellness. And the reason I think it's having its heyday is because so many companies are out there trying to figure out, well, what are we going to do? Are employees going to work remotely? Is it going to be a hybrid situation? Are we having them come back to the office? And employees are kind of stressing out a little bit and they're letting it be known. So obviously wellness and well-being ties into that. Now, what's interesting is there's I guess a subcategory or a subset of well-being that's really important as well. And there's a lot of research about it, which is intellectual well-being. And that's all about learning. In other words, you should be helping your employees build skills, upskilling your employees, because there's a ton of benefits to that. And all of that falls under this idea of intellectual well-being. And there's a lot of benefits to the company and there's a lot of benefits to the employees, and employees really do want that. But here's where I think there's an opportunity. I feel like whenever we talk about upskilling or skill building and this idea of intellectual well-being, companies are saying, yeah, okay, we're going to help our employees build skills, but the skills are focused on making them better employees. In other words, we're going to help them build the skills that are going to benefit us as a company. Yeah, they'll benefit them in their career and in their role, but it's really more about like them building the skills that are going to help us and help our company right now and or in the future. And I think the opportunity, and I think we're companies that are really gonna really can benefit from this idea of intellectual well-being and learning and skill building, are the ones that find the balance between being self-serving and teaching them skills that are going to benefit the company and teaching them skills that are going to benefit them as people. And I think there's a real opportunity to take learning and say, well, yeah, let's focus on this skill that we know they're all going to need. So, for example, maybe if it's marketing or what have you, maybe it's storytelling, or maybe it's learning about AI and how to do prompting or what have you, which is going to it'll benefit them in their role, and it's also going to benefit the company. But what about other things? What about things in their personal life? What about helping them learn skills like mindfulness, or learn how to, I don't know, navigate going through a divorce. I mean, all these things that you would never, things that are more focused on their personal lives, them as human beings versus them as just employees. And I think the companies that look at learning and say, and this idea of intellectual well-being, and they start offering that kind of information to employees, I think those are the ones who are really going to win. And you might look at it and say, well, how are we going to do that? How do we put that out there? And if you know me, you know I am, I'm all in on podcasting and do a lot of internal private podcasts for companies. And a lot of them focus on skill building, and not just skills that are going to benefit the company, but skills that will benefit them as people as well. And using a podcast, an internal podcast, to teach those skills and to basically foster that intellectual well-being could be a great format to use. But the bigger idea here really is to start to look at skill building and upskilling and this idea of intellectual well-being, and finding the balance between the self-serving skills or the self-serving, intellectual topics, and the ones that are more human. So we all talk about work-life balance. It's that the content that you put out to your employees should also have that quote unquote work-life balance. Just something to think about.